Well, here we go. Not so much in the episode, but in me talking after the episode, because once again, I go to play the sound and there is no sound because the microphone has recorded, or the incorrect microphone was set to record because why? I didn't ever change this. But for some reason it is felt that the default should just switch occasionally to the wrong thing, and you can't hear it at all, and this is irreplaceable due to the low level or even the large amount of backups. It went on for a little while, as you'll see. But let's get into it. I can't take this sadly. So I'm killing a cow here because I was doing some research into seeds, and I found that you can pick up seeds from drop containers. And at this point, it took me actually a long while to realize that seeds from drop containers probably means seeds from the unknown signal containers that drop from the sky. But I do expect it to be that, so I continue on my killing spree and I go ahead and try to find some more animals. But then it occurs to me that there may be some magnesium in the base, and I can use that magnesium to set up a few turrets and to take on the animals that are sitting around. I'll go with interior turrets because they seem to be the simplest, and they don't require a whole lot to get going. So once I'd placed all my turrets, I had to look for some magazines in order to feed the little hungry beasts, and there was some in the ship, and I think I grabbed those, or did I produce new ones? I produced new ones, and I'll have to wait for those to complete so I can place them other places. I figured in the meantime I might as well help Bob's weld up the turrets if they weren't all welded up already. I guess they were. Oh, wait, was this the moment? Oh, this was the moment. I decided to try to pick up a cow. I figured that might be a good idea, but I'd have to take a nap so I could see in the daylight. I was wondering if I could lock onto a cow and pick it up and drop it into something. And this wonderful day is when I began that quest, I should say. There it is. There's the cow that I will attempt to pick up. And I just had to get a good angle on it. It kept running away. I wasn't expecting it to run away so much, but there it was. It was right up close. I was trying to nab it, trying not to shatter the ship in the process. And I lost it. The cow went somewhere. I thought I'd crushed it, so I went down to go ahead and check it out, and nope, it was just standing there. So I ground the cow down to see if there was any seeds, and there was no seeds. So, got back into my ship and headed home. So, I then proceeded to go ahead and make sure I could load all of the turrets. There we go. I was only able to load one. I was expecting to put 5 in each of them, and then it immediately started shooting at something in the distance. Kind of freaked me out for a second as the cows were wailing. I thought it was shooting at one, but it wasn't, so I had to go ahead and try to adjust all their ranges. I didn't want them shooting at things so far that Bob couldn't collect anything from them. I was hoping that I could leave this going, and I was talking about going and doing other things and trying to let Bob passively pick up stuff. And then I realized you couldn't get something from the cat, and it was extremely sad the way the cat sounded when it died. But then I found another cat and decided that I would try the same thing again because I wasn't sure if that one fell through the floor or something else was going on. But you can't pick up anything from cats. And there was a big ship off in the distance. It was a carrier, if I remember. No, it was a frigate. Yeah, that thing. Oof. Scary, scary. So I was flying over to load this turret when I whacked myself on the foot, and I made the... Oh, I was also pointing out that poor dog just kept getting missed by the turrets, and it was just shooting around him rather than at him. They have very stormtrooper-y aim. But it was at that point that I decided that any death from here on out for the survival series, the hardcore survival series, would be the end of it. Mostly because I wanted to start something new, but I wanted to wait until whenever these things kind of naturally concluded. So I was going to make a very clear win and lose scenario for each survival series, so that I could move on to other ones that I'd also like to do. There's this really cool one that I was thinking that I would fly. I would create a hovercraft, like where the wheels have no friction, and slide around the world. That'll probably be really fun. But I was thinking like drop in survival, build it up, but like all hardcore survival. The goal is to get around the world without dying. and it sounds insane, and it sounds very fun. So that's what it was going to be. So I was noticing that I kept picking up meat, and I was just trying to clean up my inventory a little bit. I wasn't talking there, so that would have been cut anyways. After realizing the turrets had Stormtrooper aim, I thought I could do a little bit better, and I also have Stormtrooper aim. I don't have an excuse of being a turret in a game, though. I just can't shoot that poor cat. I missed every single time. But I think I did manage to hit something. No, I didn't. I just closed the door so more cats wouldn't get in. That's what I did. Alright, so I bring out the big landing gear, then a small landing gear. And I was planning to build a, like, hunting craft that can drive around and get things. And that was going to be my my little thing so that I can actually hit something, and I still can't hit that cow. Oh man, let's watch how many times I missed. Nope, I managed to get the cow. It was far away, and I got the cow. The poor cow. And then there was something else in the distance. It was a deer. Yep. We're gonna slowly try to lead the deer a little bit, but I think I managed to have to run closer. And there we go. Knocked down the deer, and still no seeds. Yep, no seeds at all. So I landed back at the base and had this idea. What if by cargo drops, it meant cargo containers of enemies? You know, when enemies drop containers, be it like enemies I've defeated or, you know, other things that you'd normally find sitting around. And that's what I was going off to do. I'm just trying to find another enemy installation to see if I can, you know, try to figure out a way to attack it so I could get its stuff. And I was noticing that the ship gets really hot really fast, but I love flying it near the ground. For two reasons. One reason was that, what was it? That the thrusters do better when you're closer to the ground, and the second reason was that it's more fun. If I just flew straight up and flew along the sky, I don't think that would be as entertaining, at least for me. Oh, and I was trying to find the thruster override, because I was figuring that if I did the forward thruster and was able to get that override on, I'd be able to stay right under the heat limit and still be able to fly around. And that's what I did. And I flew with that little thing in the side and still nothing. So I gave myself a 20-kilometer limit, and I decided that I was going to fly either to those mountains or 20 kilometers, whatever came first. And I was kind of enjoying my flying around little time, weaving in and out of trees. It was very fun, very relaxing. I was flying all over the place before I heard a cow like scream. So I flew over here and I was trying to see what was going on, if there was just a cow or something. And I think there's a wolf. Yeah, I was trying to hit. Okay, maybe the wolves that occur in the game already would have materials for me. So I missed the wolf, or I hit the wolf, but it disappeared into the ground. So I wasn't able to find out if those had seeds. So thinking, okay, maybe naturally occurring drops instead of modded in drops. So it wasn't a cow I heard, it was a cat. And I continued on my journey, and right then is when the place spawned. So there was there's a defense station off in the distance. So I went and scouted it out. So I tried to get some height on it and stay a good distance away so I wouldn't get shot by those big turrets. And I pointed my rear towards it with the camera. That was very good, and I didn't really need to drive the ship to point the camera, but did a good zoom in as close as I can get and noticed that it had a giant gun on top of it. That's not going to be easy to attack, I thought. So I decided now is a good time to head home after I go ahead and GPS mark this with pirates. So we had a nice, long, pretty uneventful ride home. I was talking about, you know, holidays and holiday things. Oh, I did manage to miss that this wasn't all the way home. It was this really fun part where I flew in between these little hills. I slowed down, turned around, and flew through them so I could get like this nice little fun flying moment. It was right around now that if you look at the hotbar, I was noticing that the thrust overrides were changing based on altitude. Oh, it actually took me a little while to figure out it was based on altitude. I noticed they were changing earlier, but it was at this time that I finally figured it out, that it's like, oh, it was height, so that means the thrust override must be a percentage of the thrust that the engine does rather than a set amount of thrust. So that was pretty interesting to me, and I was thinking about it for a little bit, seeing how that'll kind of go play around or play about. But I was coming right up on the house, right up on the house, right up on the base. I was thinking of making a house today. I'm like, you know what? I should make a house. And I went and built a square in a survival world or a test world just to kind of see if I can build a house. And I built a square, a big cube. It wasn't very exciting. It only took a minute or two. And I'm like, that's not going to be very fun. Nor is it going to be fun for me to try to build a house. I thought it was going to be easier. But yeah, so I just went and flew back home. After coming home and grinding a cat to see if the bob can pull anything out of the cat, it didn't pull any seeds. Spoiler alert. I was pretty bummed that I wasn't able to find, a good source of just not meat. I was wanting to start a farm, kind of grow things, but alas, no seeds were in the inventory. So I decided to load the turrets, and these little guys were hungry. They kept shooting and shooting and shooting. Everything, just anything that would come within range would just be shot at, and they would miss horribly. And I was just following them around, reloading them, still thinking that I could get seeds from these animals. It's like one of them, it must be super rare or something. It was the thought that I was either going through my head or I said it out loud. It's like, it must be super rare or something. There has to be seeds in these things. No, there isn't. So after spending some time kind of looking, it then occurred to me that drop containers are probably more likely to be those enemy bases, the containers in the enemy bases. So I was trying to think of something that I can arm. I wasn't even sure what to arm it with yet. I started looking at this one, noticed that it has a small port on the bottom. I'm like, okay, what gun can I take use of? I'm like, let's just go a little bit ridiculous. Let's build a big one. And I realized it would fit, and I have the materials to build it. So I was about to stick it on there when I noticed that the conveyor junction was too big. And I'm like, oh, well, this one over here will probably be able to carry the heavy cannon better. Not sure how much it actually weighs. It weighs 1.56 tons, I think. I think that was the display right before it closed there. So I was going to grab me some stuff, see if I have any... wait, what was I doing? I have no idea what I was doing here. I was trying to... Oh, I was going to produce its ammo to see if it needed uranium. If it needed uranium, I was going to stop there and pick something else. And if it didn't, I was going to let it produce. So, started producing it. Went to go check to see how much is there. Oh, no, I wanted to see how much magnesium there was. Noticed there was a little bit, and I put it to refine. Not too much going on here. All right, once all that was sorted out, and it is 1.56 tons, I was making sure that I had everything to build it, and I was going to stick it on the bottom of this thing. Well, I was going to stick it in the center, but decided the back would probably look a little bit cooler. So I stuck it back here, hoping to line up the container, which I think I did. And I went ahead and built it right up. Bob had to finish it for me because I couldn't hold all the steel tubes, which kind of sucks, because I was hoping that it would unlock something, but I didn't really pay much mind to it. But I had more meat from shooting more animals. Actually, I was grinding something, I think. And then we had the giant cannon. And it was just ridiculous. I loved it. It was causing me a lot of chuckles, and I loved how much there was 34 of those from when we defeated that first base, and it took me a little while to realize where I got them from. But yeah, that's where they ended up being from. So I scooted them all over to this little ship and got ready to go take on that base over there. So I unhid our pirates and ventured off. I was about to put that on. I thought I put that in the hotbar before I left. Oh, there we go. Last minute. There we go. Control. Now I can point it wherever I want. Oh, it was so cool. It's like I'm ready for this. I wanted to be able to turn it on and off so it doesn't start shooting at the base and destroy it before I had a chance to get to it. So we went ahead and added that toggle. And we ventured off. So we spent some time admiring just how cool this cannon looked at the bottom of the ship. And I was trying to line it up so it'd be pointing straight and look even cooler. Well, I would think it looks... I thought it would look even cooler. And I feel like I was kind of right. It kind of looks ridiculous. This little Dorito plane with a cannon sticking out the bottom. That's when I decided to call it the Dorito ship. My little Dorito flyer. I have two of them, the little one and the big one, and they're just this little Dorito and big Dorito. I was thinking they're like Star Destroyers. They're big. It's got the big gun on it, and it's like all showy, and it doesn't do much. Well, the Star Destroyers do much canonically, and then there was another thing that decided to spawn in. It was a little itty bitty, like a watchtower or something. I can't read it. It's really, really hard to read on this tiny display. Hold on. What does this say? It's a lookout tower. There's a little itty bitty lookout tower. So I decided, you, my friend, are target practice. And I was trying to see how long the shot is. How long, you know how the missiles for the missile turret will go 1 kilometer and then explode? I wanted to see how far this would go. This would go 5 kilometers. Took me a while to find that. But once I figured that out, I decided to head on a little bit closer so that I could get a good shot on it. And I was ready to go. I was scared that it was going to shoot back very quickly and destroy my little ship. So I stayed a good distance away and saw it had a missile turret and said, well, my friend, you don't need that anymore now, do you? And knocked it straight off. And I suddenly surged in confidence and continued fighting the little itty-bitty base, which was wonderful. Just knocked off the second turret. Then finally the last one. All done. Gonna head over very cautiously. I wanted to make sure there was no extra turrets around. So I decided to turn that off, and I think I turned it off. No, I left it on. That explains something. So I noticed the target indicator came on, and I was going to check at what distance that was. That was 1 kilometer, so it was at least a kilometer within it, because I think I hit the antenna on accident. So it wasn't the cannon that hit the antenna for me. It was me that hit the antenna. I was wanting to see if I could tell it to target turrets, but that mod isn't installed. I don't think I was going to install it because there was some issue I was having with it. Remembered it was on. Just blasted a nice hole in it, and I decided to ever so cautiously fly over. Oh yeah, I tried to do the camera trick again so I could see, not camera trick. I tried to use my backup camera again to see if there was any turrets that were going to get me as soon as I got close, and it looked like I'd cleared it out pretty well. So after a very cautious approach, I decided that I was going to go straight for the cargo container. I wanted seeds. That was the goal of all this. That was me attacking everything because I wanted seeds. I needed seeds. So, ground down the cargo container a little bit, went to fix it back up, saw the cannon, and then realized, oh wait, I'm using the all scrap mod. I can't just grind down something and repair it. So I had to check and just kind of be clear to me that there was nothing that I could grab. So I decided I would dump away the stuff and fly a little bit closer to see if the Bob will pick everything up for me. I think at some point I realized that I can completely grind down the... I was hoping to fix the antenna so I can leave and come back. I'm like, okay, there's nothing there, and then I accidentally turned off the jetpack and freaked out. Because now I had set that rule that if it was anything that killed me, it was done. And also the original rule that any enemy that gets me and it's done. So I decided, okay, this cannon's got to go. And I was cutting at it for a while, kind of moving from side to side so it didn't get the confidence to shoot me or to try to shoot itself. And there we go. Had it down, kind of peeking around the side to make sure there's nothing there. And realized there was 40 more of the 30 millimeter shells, so I had to dump my inventory as quick as I could. As quick as I could. It takes a while, and I managed to pick up a majority of those. After the Bob was set up, I was going to go into the camera. I accidentally told the cannon to shoot. I think it missed the base though, so I was okay. Oh yes, I saw little dudes frolicking around, and I figured, you know what they need? A cannon. I got one of them and launched the other one in the air. Oh, it was great. This is why I really wish this microphone had recorded, but that's happened and done, and we're here now. And I'm sorry if you don't like this format, but it's extremely rare, except at the very beginning. It's extremely rare, and I hope to never let it happen again. But as things go. Oh, there was an angry wolf. I decided to shoot the wolf and then ran out of ammo. Oh, no, I didn't. I still had 23. When did I run out? I think it was when I was shooting the wolf. Oh, nice. I hit it, and it bounced in the air. Oh, that's what I was doing. I was trying to get that squirrel. And out. Nope. When did I run out? There. I'm like, I knew I ran out around here. So, with my newfound confidence in the giant cannon, I was going to grind down this cargo container to see if something just falls out. Oh, wait, no. I was going to pick up the rest of the shells. I thought I was going to grab the cargo container. Right, this is when I decided to cut down that cargo container and find that there was an interior plate and quite a few motors in there. I would have really liked to have been able to just kind of peruse through it, but I didn't want to fly all the way back and forget where this was. So I collected everything I could from there and went on to the next cargo container. Just going to go ahead and also fail at doing that and realize exactly what I needed. I thought I had enough stuff, but no, I was short on computers and screens and didn't have anywhere else to get those. So I kind of just, yes, this is when I ran out of jetpack fuel. And I didn't realize, then that's when I kind of pointed out that, that is why every single one of my ships has a remote control. Perfectly perfect for doing exactly this. And me neglecting to remember that I have things, or that I don't have things. So I just let Bob pick at that for a little bit, and then I saw something. I saw a transport courier and figured, well, I'm just going to save this place and go after our new friend in the sky. So this is Pirates again, so that I know how to get back here, because I still hadn't gotten to the original Pirates beacon. So I was going to go scope out that ship and see if it would be worth plundering. So I did the standard little deal. I got pretty close and used the cannon to zoom in and saw that it had this massive cannon on top of it. So I was trying to lead it myself because the target lead indicator hadn't come on yet. I wasn't close enough, and I was getting pretty close. I could have definitely gotten some body shots on the ship if I wanted to, but I was just trying to knock off that turret, so I needed to get a little bit closer. I was actually really scared that the cockpit was in the front of this craft, like directly exposed to anything that wants to hit me. It was pretty worrying. But I just decided to get just a little bit closer. At just under 1,000 meters, the target indicator came on, and I really quickly switched into the turret so that I could try to knock off that big one, because I was really scared that it was just going to turn and just obliterate me. I'm not even sure what it is. It's just huge, and I don't want to deal with anything huge. And I think I nicked the antenna there, and I just kept trying, because now the target lead indicator was gone. But I knew about how far the lead on it was originally. And I saw that cannon that I have on the bottom of my ship over there, and I didn't want to deal with that either. Seeing how quickly it can just do that, rip off a big cannon from the ship. Then I did a whole little Looney Tunes whistle as it fell to the ground. He's like, clunk. Decided to get a little bit closer because I knew I could now, take whatever it had to offer. At least from the top, because I didn't see any other cannons on the top. I just saw the big one. But I decided I probably should start trying to knock it down so I can get to it. And I just shot randomly at it. There's the little cannon on the bottom. That's what I was worried about. And I knew it was obscured by that connector, so I was trying to get like a view on where I could hit it at. And I was just trying to shoot that cannon off and missing. But luckily I had picked up tons and tons of the 300mm things. And then I hit the little docking port on it, so I'm like, okay, well that's probably damaging some systems that I don't want to damage on it. I would at least like to be able to collect what it has in its cargo tanks. So I found the control in the cockpits and bumped up the target range to 2,000 meters, which makes it, or 2,000 kilometers, not 2,000 kilometers, 2 kilometers, 2,000 meters, which made it a lot better. So now I was able to, I don't know why I kept trying to get closer. For some reason I was still in the whole mindset of trying to be, that's why I tried to get closer, so I could get a better shot on the cannon. And I noticed it looked like it fired something, so that kind of startled me, and I shot. And I hit it right in the center and kind of tipped the ship a little bit. So I just kept going because I was like, okay, whatever. I might as well continue trying to destroy it. And there it was. It was now broken, so I was just going to try to knock off some of the engines so it would fall out of the sky, and I can catch up with it and try to harvest anything that would be left over. I was really surprised how long the antenna lasted, but there the ship goes. It went and exploded on us, and we're going to go ahead and follow it down, see if we can't get what goodies the pirates have in store for us, as we're now becoming the pirates. And that's what I came up with the name for the episode. I am now the pirate, or what did I call it? I wish I would have recorded it because I would remember it. But no, the little input's always wrong. Oh yeah, and then the cannon decided to shoot it again and split it in half. So now I was chasing whichever half I could get to. But I decided I would fly through the wreckage and try to get down to the floor so that I could watch the wreckage fall from above, because I felt like that would look pretty cool. And if it was headed towards me, I could just move out of the way. So I decided to get at least close enough to it that I could see it, and then head straight down. There we go. Building up a little bit of speed. Oh, I had to fly by that one, and I wanted to see which one had a cargo container. I feel like that one had a cargo container, so I was trying to get low. Eventually I'll do it. There we go. I had to race it to the bottom. I think that's when I had the realization. There we go. I love how beautiful this game is. I was commenting that a lot when I was flying around. I'm like, wow, this game is gorgeous. And I decided to kind of watch it all fall. I was a bit off in where it was going to crash, so we saw that one explode in the distance. Nice rumbly little explosion. And then this one coming down, I wanted to get a better view of it. There it was. Just kind of nicked the floor. It wasn't going fast enough. And there wasn't anything here for me. Just a thruster. So I was going to go ahead and check that out again, but Bob had already eaten the thruster. So I decided to move on. And over here was where the original part came down, but unfortunately all that was left of it was little bits of scrap. So I decided to kind of look around a little bit more to see if I missed something, and then I moved on. So back to our original place, Pirates again. Or not our first original place, but our first victory against our second victory against the pirates, the first victory with this ship. I just noticed how like beautiful this land was, how I would have loved to have landed here, like on this kind of semi-flat area with all this water kind of just strewn about. That would have been really cool. So I came back here because I wanted to check the connector and see if there was anything else that I could grab from it. So I decided to go ahead and check what the Bob was doing, seeing what it was trying to build and seeing what it was working on. I also remembered that my jetpack was off. And yep, I couldn't reach the door because of it, because I'm pretty sure I'd blown the stairs off in one of the first shots. So I brought the ship down a little bit, and I was either going to build stairs or do something that you might see here in a moment. No, the first thing was to build stairs. I wanted to check if there was a hydrogen bottle, realized there wasn't, so I'm like, okay, well, can I build an armor plate? Well, I can't, but what I can do is use interior plates to build an interior wall. And that was very useful. And it made me realize again that Space Engineers doesn't have sloped interior walls. Just kind of strange to me. I feel like interior walls could honestly be like, oh, it'd be really cool if they could have like a texture involved with the strength of an object. Oh, I just realized I could have used the big stairs there. I could have just fixed the entrance. Well, I decided to grind through it instead. But yep, I noticed there was a weird noise. What is that noise? It sounds horrible. That's a wolf. So I went to go grind the wolf. And it just had meat for me. It didn't have any seeds. I was still hoping that was what the drops meant. Because I wasn't entirely sure. And I was also hoping there was another way up there. But I think, as you probably realize, and I'm realizing now, the Bob had already eaten all the cargo containers by the time I cut through this heavy armor block. Which, wow, that takes forever, even with an ice grinder. And yep, just a little bit of metal scrap from that. Nothing too crazy. So we'll just go ahead and chuck that away in the ship so we don't have to deal with it. And I can chuck whatever I want in there since I don't really have to manage a bottle and all the tools. And it does, for its credit, throw away the tools correctly. And I was trying to, earlier, when I was in the, trying to build an interior block, I was like, I wish it was like Minecraft where I could just jump on top of the dang block. I didn't say that. I was like, I'm like, oh, I thought it was like Minecraft for a second. I do remember that. But here we are trying to get onto the connector, not the easiest thing, and also realizing that you enter where you leave where you entered. We're trying to see if there was anything kind of stuffed into the connector. At any point, I realize now that was probably not where stuff is. The stuff's probably already all been picked up or ground. And I noticed the cow in the distance. I'm like, hello, cow. Let me go ahead and land my ship. Don't want to land it on the cow. And this is when I decided I would run and jump onto the ship. So I'm going to get rid of the catwalk and do a little hop. I noticed that a lot of my ships, I should probably add oxygen generators. Those would probably be, or the hydrogen generators, those would probably be really useful, because jumping on top of stuff is kind of inconsistent. And I was trying to jump on top of those gyroscopes, but it wasn't really having it until right then. There we go. Then I would use the remote control to slowly float upwards so that I can grab that. It is an extra convoluted jetpack. We'll just leave it at that. We ground down our lovely connector, and I forgot to press tab because literally everything on the HUD is showing. It's so cluttered sometimes. But that's partly because of the mods, and partly because I don't know how else you're supposed to display all that information. There's that alternate HUD mod, but that one's not super great. Well, okay, hold on. It is super great. It's just not something that I like the look of. It's an amazing mod. Don't get me wrong. It looks awesome, but I tried playing with it. It's like, it feels weird. I like the old Space Engineers style, where it was kind of just like a little, like, where it had the little boxes and it had all the data in the boxes. But I also realized that is a lot. That is also cluttered. Like, I like this style just that much better. So I decided to head on over to my original pirate's marker, and it'll take me a little while to get there. But just about a minute later, because I was flying around the floor, just kind of scooting around, seeing what I could see and bumping the microphone when I'm trying to talk about what I was doing, I found the original installation, the one with the ginormous cannon on the top. Oh man, I was scared of that thing. I'm like, okay, don't shoot me, don't shoot me. I didn't want it to turn. The moment I saw that barrel start to move, I was going to exit and fly away as quick as possible. But no, I was just right outside of its thing. I'm so glad that it doesn't try to just shoot in your general direction if you shoot at it. That would be very cool, but also very horrible. Then I saw the missile turret on there and said, nope, but that has got to go. And I started sounding like a crazy pirate during this episode because I was getting excited with my newfound blowing everything up ability. But that base neutered, I decided that I would come in close, just cautiously like the last one, and see what I can find in it. And to my surprise, but probably not any of yours, this base didn't have much. It was small. It was very small. I thought the big gun would mean that it was defending something huge, but then I remembered that I think the weapons are randomized. So there wasn't much left of it. It was just a battery and a door and a giant shell. I'm like, oh my god, those things are huge. Sheesh. And I had to figure out what it was. It's a 900mm shell. I picked up like as many as I could hold and went at it. And Bob's are trying to pick them up, so I'm like, okay, I'll love these missiles and I'll love those giant cannons. I'm like, I can't wait until I build some rocket pods on the space miner. So I decided I would pick off that window, and as with a common theme of this episode, I got startled by two wolves, kind of making me panic a little bit because I can't fly away, and my life is now extremely fragile, since this is now the last life. I was continuing at my business and grinding the wolves down so that I didn't have to fight them too much. Not really caring too much what they did to me. I have a health station at home. I know. I just realized I don't heal normally in the hardcore because I think that was turned off for this, and I started grinding the door for whatever reason. Oh! I realized that Bob was trying to pick something up, so I thought that there was something like that had been dropped when I shot the base that was getting picked up by Bob, but I don't think that was what happened. And I kept trying to jump, and I eventually made it into the cockpit. Oh, glory me when it spawns me at the bottom there. Then I saw another signal. I was just stuff hunting at this point. I was really excited. So I got rid of the pirates and pirates again and looked at what that would be. It's an escort carrier. Obviously something big. So I decided I was definitely going to go after it. I had to make sure I had enough cargo space to go after it. I'm like, I'm going to attack this thing next, which kind of seems a little bit too much, or a little bit extra. So we made our way over as usual. We got in within 2 kilometers now that we have that thing, and I went to scope it out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is massive. So I started trying to shoot it, just trying to shoot out the engine so it could fall, and I could just leave it there and come and collect it later. Because that I thought that would be a good idea, just to knock it down. just so that it's on the floor, so it doesn't have to fly away, because if they fly away, they'll disappear eventually. So that's what I decided to do. I'm gonna knock out the engines, at least on one side. Then I realized, with the experience of building that huge ship, it's very, very likely that one of those thrusters could probably hold that little thing up. I mean, it looks huge, but I'm pretty sure it's not that heavy, because my ship weighs so much. I don't know why it weighs so much, but anyways. So I decided I'll have to try to knock out as many engines as possible before I gave up or got bored. So, not getting bored of this cannon, oh my gosh, I love it. It just explodes things, and it's amazing. The lovely sound of the cannon shooting. Just thump. Distant explosion. So I decided, okay, well, it's getting pretty far. I should go ahead and chase it. So I started using the controls, the ship controls, using the cannon, or with the cannon being in the fighting mode, because I saw in one of the loading screens if you hold Alt while you're controlling the ship, you can steer it with the mouse. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Holding the while shooting a cannon, if you hold Alt while controlling the ship, you can use the mouse to as if you were normally in the ship. And then I just really wish that there was a little artificial horizon or something on the right, so that I could know what orientation I'm in, because a lot of my ships tend to tip and kind of lisp. I don't know why, probably because the amount of pistons and stuff in it. And then I nicked the antenna, which was very sad, but it did drop a bunch of stuff off the ship, and that looked pretty cool. And I did notice a moment ago that when the shots would miss it, the little designator turret would try firing at him. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to get closer. I know if I'm 2 kilometers now, and I'm going to wait till I'm 800 meters when that one big one fires, because I don't want a chance getting hit by it. So I wanted to get closer, but I kind of chickened out. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay at a distance. And it started shooting at me, and I was freaked out for a second, but I thought it was shooting at the cannon. So I'm like, okay, I'll be okay. And I think it's starting to fall. This is when it was starting to fall. Yes, here it is. So I'm like, okay, I knocked it down. I'm going to go ahead and grab it, or just kind of mark over where it is. So I'm like, okay, we're good. We're like right in between the base and there, and I can make this like huge salvage operation to go pick it up. And then it started shooting at me, so I freaked out and dove. I'm like, dive. Get away from the big mean ship. I know I shot it down, but sheesh, didn't have to shoot at me. So I'm just kind of watching it fall and keeping an eye on it, making sure where I can see where it falls. I did then decide to take a couple more shots at it just to make sure it was good and through, and then it did that to me. It literally just vanished. It's like, I'm done, and it vanished. I would hopefully understandably a little bit upset about that. I was just like, dang it, the ship just went and disappeared on me. So I guess I'll head home. So I started flying home. It was a nice trip home. I didn't stick around the ground because I wasn't sure of something, but then something popped up. The spawner was into it, and it was exciting me with all these new possibilities. So spawns another thing, and that said supply cache. I was gonna head home and get ready and start flying out again, but that said supply cache. That's like the tip of the best. It must have stuff in it somewhere. Like, why else would it be named supply cache? And I was like, okay, I know exactly why I'm coming here. So I'm thinking it's gonna be like heavily armed. So I'm making sure I don't burn up trying to head towards it. I'm so excited. I'm gonna get in there. I did lose my light. I was pretty sad to be losing my light because I can't really throw light that far to see what it has, but I might be able to see silhouettes because it's along the ice, and this isn't exactly night. The sun's just gone a little bit behind the mountains, so I decided to get a good view on it, what I could. I'm like, okay, well, I can't really see it, so I think I'm just gonna shoot at it. Which was a good idea, I think, until it exploded. I'm like, no, my supplies, my potential uranium. So I decided to fly down and go ahead and check it out. I left the cannon on, I think. I didn't want to be surprised by something, and if it started shooting at me, I wanted to leave as quick as possible. But with that shot and seeing the giant crater it left, I was more than willing to turn off the cannon and kind of approach slowly so that I could get closer and see what else it had to offer. I did make a note on how very neat that circle was from the warhead explosion. I thought it was a little bit more random, but no, it's just like this beautiful sphere. I for some reason thought that they would explode at different, like radiuses, or like not so perfect of a circle. But so I decided to come in here, use that as a little ramp so I could look around. I saw that the target was shooting at something. It was a timer block. So I'm like, I'm going to get rid of the timer block. I thought I spotted something in there, maybe a cargo container of sorts. No, it was just a seat. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't really need the seat, so I'm going to go ahead and look around here. Try to hop up on top of it, see what there is to see. And I didn't do that extremely well. So I'm like, okay, I'll walk around the side and see what kind of devastation I caused. So I started grinding on a button panel for a little to no reason. Then I realized, oh, look at all of that ammunition. I'm picking all of that up. That's the supplies of the supply cache. I guess their explosion didn't get rid of everything. So I decided I'll look around and, grab a few more things, try to stuff them in the back of the ship as much as I could hold, which isn't much, and Bob wasn't able to pick up much at a time. This thing was getting packed with literally everything I could think of. I'm just gonna stuff it full. Just gonna keep dumping new things on there. When I get home, the treasures are amazing. Could you look at all that? Then I heard a wolf in the distance, so I started just trying to hurry it up a little bit. It's like, okay, let's not get wolfed. I would much rather not be bit again. I'm at 60% health. That's not the best situation. Then I saw the Spirit of Le Monde, and that sounded cool to me. So I'm like, okay, well, the Spirit of Le Monde, you're next. You're my next new. What was I calling them? All of my new pirate friends. Yeah, and I did a dumb. There was a what do you call it? Programmable block nestled right above, and it was stuck. It was stuck in the air for some weird reason. And I couldn't control the ship. I'd lost control of the ship. I decided very very dumbly to jump out and try to figure out what was wrong. Well, if you notice, and I noticed too, all of the gyroscopes were destroyed in that. So I had to try to see if I had the ability to repair the gyroscope. So I wanted to make sure I had all the stuff. It has motors and steel plates, which is mostly what gyroscopes are made out of. I got tons of construction components. What could I possibly be missing? So I decided to check the bob and make sure it was building things. I thought it had built a gyroscope by now, but it didn't. So I went ahead and shut it off and tried to see what I can think of. So I'm like, okay, what do those gyroscopes need? So I'll need to be able to try to control the ship to bring it down, and of course, I whacked it right on the antenna too. I feel like this was a pretty sad moment for me. I'd just gotten hurt quite a bit from jumping out of there, and I was just trying to run out of the crater so I could at least just kind of catch my breath out of the area that was all through here. I'm like, okay, I have my drill. If I really need to, I can drill out, because the sounds of the dogs were just in my head. I didn't hear it right now. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, but I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to get bit again, because if I get bit while I'm not paying attention, I'll probably die. This is when I was trying to amend my rules again. I'm like, okay, so if the dogs get me, I don't think they count as an enemy. They're kind of just like a hazard. And I'm like, no. I have to. That would have to be it. Same thing with me falling. I came up that I'm not going to re-amend the rules every time it's convenient to me. The rules are the rules, unless they're very silly. Because I think in the first couple of episodes, I died running into a tree. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go through the build and repair system. I'm going to pick everything that isn't the gyroscope and disable it. And that took a little while. But once that was all disabled, I had to make sure the build and repair system was named Bob. So aptly named Bob. And I let it go to work. And it started repairing a lot of things, but yeah, I saw it working on the gyroscope, and I was very, very hopeful. But I realized that I would have to be able to drop the ship somehow, because I can't access it because I don't have the remote control. So I'm like, I'm just going to turn on and off the thrusters, kind of like pulse it down to me, and let the dampeners take control of keeping it from crashing into something too hard. And I thought it was at a good angle, so I tried to get up here. Spoiler alert, it doesn't really work. So I managed to bring the ship a little bit lower, and I'm going to go ahead and run up on top of it and try very hard to get to the cockpit, which is extremely difficult at this point, because it's just at such an awkward position. I was really upset at myself that I didn't check the hydrogen bottles before I went. And I don't know, I love making these trips, but I also don't like when they don't go great. But this also makes it extremely fun. Space engineers with challenge, and that's what I love. Some challenge here and there. I decided I would just knock off the thrusters and see how that goes. I saw some smoke, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't move the ship, so there's probably no gyroscopes. Let me do a quick check. No gyroscopes. They're probably really broken. So I'm gonna turn on the thrusters, and I'll see if I can't just kind of thruster it out of here. And I was trying to be very careful and not damage it again. I had to check for that programmable block. And what am I doing here? Oh, I'm just kind of, fiddling around, trying not to get in trouble. I noticed that was still trying to build the gyroscopes, but it couldn't because it was missing whatever it was missing. I could have checked there, but I didn't bother. I just wanted to get home. I was just like, okay, I'm done for today. I'm going to fly back to the base, and we'll all be good. This will be an amazing kind of story to tell. This is the adventure. So I prepared myself, and I'm ready to go. So I'm pushing forward, and I hit space just a little bit and realized that was a very bad idea. So I was pretty upset. I'm like, okay, something really big exploded, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't the middle of the ship, like all the cargo container core, because I still wanted all my containers. So I'm like, it's not that. I might be able to scoot out here just a little bit. This thing isn't very balanced, but maybe I can push it out. And me letting go of the throttle caused it to slip, and now we're upside down. Oh, that was wonderful. Still upsetting even now. And then I heard the dog, and then it was a deer. It kind of made me freak out again. And there it was, picking up parts of itself. I'm like, oh, maybe it's building the gyroscope. And no. The gyroscopes are missing things. And did I ever check? I'm thinking it's probably computers and whatnot. So I ground that little block out of anger and stood there trying to think of what I can do. I was going through all my different options, kind of reading off, okay, I can stay here. Oh, wait, that cargo container is like completely destroyed. That one too? That one too. And I'm like, oh, did I lose all of the 300 millimeter things? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. And I'm like, okay, come on. Is there any? Okay, there's a few, and then there's a whole bunch right there. I'm like, okay, they're in the big one. That's okay. My big cannon, even though it's destroyed right now, I can always make another one, and it'll be okay. We have everything we need, which is quite a bit of stuff. This is a good haul. So I saw the deer again, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drill myself out, see if I can't just get a good kind of position on where home is, or where something that might be able to help me is, and. Yeah, it's 20 kilometers away. Or not 20 kilometers away, 12 kilometers, 14 kilometers away. So I decided to name this the Hole of Shame. And I was going to say, okay, I'm going to fast forward a walk over there. I'm going to do a quick thing. But then I fell. And I realized, you know what? I really just don't want to walk over there. So I grabbed all the food and water I could hold, or that was in the ship, and decided, okay, I'm gonna make this really big walk home. I had to check how much power was left on the ship. 5 days, that's plenty. It's not going to take me 5 days to walk there. So I decided to start heading that way. Put my grinder out, ready for any dogs that come my way. I was also complaining about the red. The red from me getting hurt. It's just like, okay, well, this is the first little bit of a long journey. I gotta start walking. I calculated that it was going to take about 25 minutes for me to get over there, just running at the 10 meters a second. So that was going to be exciting. It was like, yay, I finally made it to the edge of the lake, what feels like an eternity later. And this is when I said that, okay, I have to fast forward, like, not fast forward to the point where you don't see it, but like speed up the footage. So it's just like me walking super quick. So I didn't do a lot of talking here. I did kind of stop every now and then and admire the scenery, which was really beautiful. Because I mean, this game, you don't get the scale of the game until you have to walk 13 kilometers. This thing's huge, and you're so tiny as a little space engineer. When you build your big ships and you're flying around at hundreds of meters per second, you're okay. And this was that right then when I fell a little bit. was also like, okay, I'm not gonna let it end on me falling. That's not happening. I know the rules. I realized I can't amend the rules. It's not happening. I'm not gonna let myself fall. So I'm just gonna run and be extremely cautious. So I was watching a video on how to do the seeds when I encountered my first wolf. I kind of panicked and paused the game, tabbed out so I could pause the video, and had to go after the wolf. I was telling it to stay away. I have a grinder. I should have used my drill. My drill is more powerful and more scary. It's pointy, you see. Okay, so these are the first two wolves I encountered along the way. And the suit decided to remind me at this moment, hey, you probably shouldn't try to fight them. Because I was saying, okay, maybe I'll be able to take one of them and run off. Because I noticed that when I fought the two the first time, one of them just booked it. So I figured, okay, this is a good opportunity to do that. And I started falling down the cliff. Pro tip, I guess, when you're falling down a cliff, if you stop pushing any of the directional keys, it looked like I just kind of stopped. I don't know if that's a pro tip or that's just kind of the tip. So after my panic, I started walking the wrong way towards the hole of shame. And I'm like, oh, I'm so close. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't make sense. So I was back to continuing my great journey. I made it quite a ways, and there's another wolf coming after me. This time I brought the drill out, and it seemed to slow him down. I was trying to cut a hole so he would fall in it, but that didn't work so well. He just walked right through it. I was hoping his pathing would be like, oh, don't know what to do, there's a hole here. Get confused and it'll run away. But it seemed to run off that way to join its friend. But a different one started chasing me, and that was okay. And then I tried calling out to the spirit of Le Monde to come save me. But no, it stayed very far away. The ship did not hear my call for help. So I was threatening the wolf with the drill, got very close to getting bit again, and decided to attack it. And I defeated the wolf and ended up with 1 health. And I kind of came to terms that, okay, I have to be extremely careful now. I'm going to, if the next time I encounter a bunch of enemies, I'm going to try to burrow into something or create a wall. And then I realized I didn't pick up any steel plates or interior plates. Would have been a great idea, but I wasn't thinking this was going to be that hard of a journey. And I was thinking, this is amazing. I love that these exist in Space Engineers. If you had to do a lot more long walks, or if there was some like spelunking that you could do, that these enemies, like these animal enemies that could attack you, or these enemies that can attack you, are perfect for this game. So I was loving it and extremely excited. I think I was a little bit upset too. At one point, I take my anger out on a tree and I grind it and almost get crushed by it. Not realizing that I'm at 1 health. Grinding a tree probably isn't as great idea. And then the suit decides to remind me again. So I'm just being extremely cautious about where anything and everything is. Then I start to notice I am exhausted. I have 5% exhaustion remaining. So I'm going to crouch here and gain back some of my exhaustion, because I'm not sure if crouching plays a role in it. Oh, I was pleading at the Le Monde again. I'm not sure if crouching plays a role, but it slowly started recovering it when I stopped and crouched. So I let that be the option. I saw a little glimmering light over there, but I think that was just being able to see the sky through the ground. A little bit of a hole there that was not going correctly, and I really hoped for a second that the rifle had some ammunition. Then there was another wolf, so I just started running in a direction because I wasn't sure how close it was. It's kind of hard to tell with some of these things. Oh, I have my helmet on because I thought my nose was cold, or I didn't think my nose was cold. I'm like, oh, my nose must be cold because I'm running through the snow. You know, something cute like that, or something cute like that. Something that something that I tend to do in games is like try to at least try to role play a little bit. So I'm like, okay, this is the scenario. My nose is cold, and I'm really trying to run away from these wolves. And I'm in thin air, so I could use the suit's oxygen to kind of be more level-headed. But, oh man. Got away from that wolf, and I was really hoping that its pathing couldn't figure out these, because I could barely figure out these. So I allowed it to stay behind when I went through this little maze that hopefully trapped it back there. So I'm just going to kind of hop up there. I was having a lot of trouble getting up this hill because I'm like, I don't want to run up the hill. I would really have loved to run around this hill, because I know there's another hill on, or mountain, I don't know if I should say, where my base is, because there's this one and then there's the next one that I flew by, and then I would have ended up there. So I'm trying to get around it, because I don't want to climb to the peak and then climb down, because I know I'm clumsy and I would definitely fall to the point where I died. So I decided to try to run around here, see if I can get up to the top. With the Le Mans getting ever further, and I'm now gone almost 4 kilometers. I was really excited. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so far, but also so close. I love this. I just love this feeling. Like it's extremely fun, and I'm so sad that I lost the audio. I'm really sorry if you don't like this kind of, dubbing over. But it's what I have to do, because the backup saves, although there's like 10 of them, don't go back this far, because I play for so long. Sometimes when I'm having tons of fun, I'll play for a long time, or if I have time, I'll play for a long time. It's really fun. This is when I take my anger out of the tree. Bad tree, go away. I saw the explosion and the already red on my health, and I freaked out a little bit. I'm like, oh no, the tree hurt me. I'm like, but I would have no health and I would die. So I said, okay, I'm going to finish running home. There's this nice, beautiful open field to keep going. Another tree that I was kind of thinking of attacking. And I was noticing my exhaustion was getting pretty low again, so I should probably take a little rest here. It's going pretty well, so a rest is a good idea, because I don't want to have that exhaustion kill me, because I think it starts damaging your health. I'm not entirely sure. I only have 1 health to damage. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go, and then I'm going to stop. Or once I figure it out. There we go. We're at -2. And there was a wolf running up there. I'm like, crouch, come on, we gotta go. I didn't even see the wolf, and it got me. And a wolf of all things, ended Space Engineers Hardcore Survival. I was kind of upset, kind of like, okay, I have to see what killed me, because I thought it was the exhaustion at first. I didn't see that wolf running up. To me, I was just crouching, taking a little break, looking around, making sure nothing was coming. Well, my brain didn't decide to see that wolf. So in my kind of haste, because I'm like, okay, I need to get back there before he despawns and runs away, if there was a wolf, because I thought I heard one. It had already ended at this point, but I wanted to make sure I could, try it out. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fly over there, see how close I was. I was 9.7 kilometers from home. I was so close. So I did a nice fly and kind of looked around for whatever could have gotten me. I'm like, okay, maybe I just died from falling. And then I saw him. There's the wolf. There's the wolf that attacked me. 1 health. I was no match. So I'm like, okay, good game, wolf. I'm gonna take my stuff and head home for the last time. And I realized I don't have any space. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take whatever I can, because reasons. And I said to everyone, see you, Space Engineers. And then I called it for forever. But another hardcore series will come. Well, there you have it. I wasn't really planning on ending the hardcore survival series. I really wanted to keep going. I had a few more ideas, and I wanted to advance my space, put like a little space base out there, but here we are. at the end, meeting the conditions the same time that I set them. Well, I'll have some new and interesting ideas, like a hovering around the world, if I mentioned that before. I hope that's going to be exciting. And this was extremely fun for me, and I'm hoping it was fun for all of you that tuned in. And now that I'm sitting here, it's almost at 350 subscribers. That is kind of crazy. I don't think I know how to entertain 350 people, but I'll try my best. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you next time, Space Engineers.